Space 1999 was a British television series that ran from 1975 to 1977. It starred American husband-wife duo Martin Landau and Barbara Bain, as well as Canadian-born actor Barry Morse. And honestly, the show's bad. It's Star Trek Next Generation Season 1 bad. It's Enterprise all 4 seasons bad. Nope, wait, I take that back. Almost nothing is as bad as Enterprise. Season 1 of Space 1999 is a near incomprehensible mess, steeped in mysticism and being largely as boring as hell. No lie, I had to skip Matter of Life and Death, Black Sun, and Ring Around the Moon because no matter how much I appreciate Fans of the Agony Booth, I was in no way, shape, or form going to subject myself to watching any of those 3 episodes over and over again to write a recap. Oh, and if you're wondering why I didn't do the pilot, it's already done. You can find a written recap of Breakaway here, and I highly recommend you read it. Okay, so let's do this. The guy with the beard is Commissioner Simmons, played by actor Roy Dotrice. He was also in the show's pilot, Breakaway, and then didn't show up in the 3 episodes between that one and this one. And judging by his behavior in the pilot, he doesn't seem like the sort of guy who stays in his room and sulks. You know those guys who used to show up on Star Trek and push Kirk around? Those ambassadors and commodores who were portrayed as incompetent, overbearing dicks? Simmons makes them look good. So before Commissioner Simmons has to answer any awkward questions, like where he's been for 3 episodes, Moonbase Alpha is about to be visited by an unidentified spacecraft.
Subject, unidentified, powered object. Object will orbit Alpha position at coordinates 9079.
I wonder if Majel Barrett tried to sue. We get our first good look at the spacecraft, and it's a flying bong.
Paul, order a crash unit to launch pad 3 immediately. And call Carter, and I want him to fly it.
Yes, sir.
And tell Professor Bergman to meet us there. Kano, any readings of life signs from the crash site?
Negative, Commander.
Paul, get security to join us.
Right.
Dr. Russell would like you to come with us.
Colonel, I think I'd better come too.
Commissioner, right now I need a doctor and a scientist out there, not a politician.
Damn! Okay, setting aside the snark for a moment, I think in a lot of ways the production values on Space 1999 are pretty high. The transport tubes, the eagles, the sets, they're all pretty impressive.
Can't believe it's just chance.
No, they picked us out, John.
Deliberate attempt to land on Alpha. They must know what they're looking for.
I wish we knew.
And then Barbara Bain tries to act and ruins my enjoyment. The other guy talking was Barry Morse as Professor Bergman, scientist specializing in, well, everything. He's like Spock, only instead of pointed ears, he has the world's most epic sideburns. Seriously, that helmet he's wearing was custom made to contain them. So Koenig has Alan leave the group behind. What if the aliens are space cannibals? What if they mistake John Koenig and company for bags of Cheetos in those orange spacesuits?
Suspended animation.
Barbara Bain is describing the alien's state of being, not her acting style. The gang examines the alien technology and the aliens themselves, as much as they can without cracking open the seals.
We can't learn anymore without breaking this seal.
Well, we've taken every possible precaution. There's nothing else we can do.
Right, let's do it.
Christ, flying around in the space bong, I suspected the aliens might be baked, but I didn't mean it literally. Yes, that is indeed Christopher Lee. This must be Saruman, the college years.
All our instruments indicated that life no longer existed.
Yes, we were convinced of it. Only then did we break the seal.
Yeah, right. Like they're going to understand English. They're aliens from an alien culture, probably with alien thought processes. It's going to take weeks to establish some form of communication.
Please accept these gifts as peace tokens from the people of Kaldor.
Never mind. Turns out Captain Xander and company are from a dead planet. Their people have been cast through space, and their ship was to land on Earth's moon first before going to Earth. I wonder if those egg things are like that orb from the Woody Allen movie Sleeper. Unfortunately for Xander and his people, Simmons has some nefarious plans.
What are you suggesting?
Oh, come on now. None of you thought we had a chance. This is it. All we need is the courage, the vision, and the leadership to seize their ship.
And the Kaldorians.
Expendable.
And I bet you thought Christopher Lee was the bad guy in this episode, didn't you? After some medical tests, it appears Xander's people and humans are very similar. So he suggests that since there happens to be an open bunk now, he's willing to take someone with them. The problem is the trip is going to take 75 years. You know, that hair of Xander's looks really familiar.
By now you should know.
Truly, Christopher Lee is the Prince of Darkness. Naturally, Simmons is very excited by the fact that the technique might be usable by humans.
I know all that, Tony, but if it'll work for one, it'll work for others. Now seize their ship, then 6 of us can go home.
Shut up, Simmons.
Damn!
Koenig tells Helena to conduct some tests to see if it's possible to use Xander's suspend animation process on humans. So what does she do? Does the most experienced doctor on Moonbase Alpha ask for volunteers? Does she suggest using the process on Professor Bergman, who just happens to be there? Of course not! One of the least expendable members of Moonbase Alpha decides to try the process on herself. Xandor explains the risks to Koenig.
But in reanimating from so deep a sleep, there is a danger of cell damage to the brain. The alternative is death.
Wait, a guy puts a woman in a comatose state and is the only one who can awaken her? I smell shenanigans! The process works and Dr. Russell returns from the undead, and while I give Barbara Bain grief, she and Landau do have a chemistry that sometimes comes through. Koenig decides to leave the choice of who goes to the computer. Some might call it cowardice to let the computer make the choice, but I can see where Koenig is coming from. This way he can honestly say the decision was made as impartially as possible. And besides, he has to live with these people for the rest of his life. Last thing he needs is 30 years of dirty looks because he let Phil go.
Simmons, I'll promise you only this. If the computer chooses you, you go with my blessings.
And if it doesn't?
Then you wave goodbye with the rest of us.
Damn!
If you're wondering what these things are, they're comlocks. Each one acts as a communicator, but also as a key to open doors. Each comlock has its own security rating based on the clearance of the owner. On the one hand, it's not a bad idea because you don't want unauthorized personnel going into life support, or the generators, or accessing the Eagles, or getting their hands on the goodies stored in the medical center. On the other hand, if the power is out and the room you're in is decompressing, you're kind of screwed.
Now, you're going to do exactly as I tell you.
According to this, Simmons has proceeded from main mission to the maintenance section, has just now went to the power station. Kano, deactivate that comlock.
Wouldn't it have made more sense to have Kano disable the comlock first? Simmons' master plan is to hold Moonbase Alpha hostage by hanging on to this widget. Without it, the base runs out of power and everyone freezes in only half an hour. Later in the season, someone realizes how completely stupid this concept is and they rewrite things into Moonbase Alpha having multiple power stations in later episodes. Anyway, Simmons blackmails Koenig, and Kandor agrees to the man's demands, namely that he gets to go on the trip.
Thank you, Captain.
I understand your position, Commander. Commissioner is diseased.
You know it's bad when this guy thinks you're scum. And so Xander allows Simmons to take his place, and the ship flies off and things are over. Or are they?
Hello, Earth. Hello, Earth. This is Commissioner Simmons, returning home after 75 years.
Hello, Earth? Earth Control. You hear me?
Yes, that's right. Simmons wakes up after only a couple hours of sleep, and then the full weight of his predicament crashes down on him.
Koenig? Koenig! Can you hear me, Koenig?
You've got to help me. Koenig, this hasn't worked. You've got to help me. Send someone to get me, Koenig. Koenig, help me.
There's nothing we can do.
Koenig.
And the irony?
John, who did the computer finally choose?
Simmons.
In my opinion, Earthbound is the first decent episode of Space 1999, and that includes the pilot. When the show focuses more on characters and less on mysticism, when the science almost sounds real, then the show is alright. Even so, the show always felt like it did not have a clear identity. It was like the people who tried to be grounded in some aspect of reality with a show like UFO, the Andersons' first live-action series, were in conflict with people who wanted it to be just like Star Trek. And the result's a mess. We have this wonderful aesthetic inspired by 2001, which can be seen in the sets and those awesomely brutish eagles. And yet, we're expected to believe that by 1999, we have artificial gravity and lasers with stun settings. Christopher Lee's performance here is, well, weird. He's playing a very understated role, really not like anything I had ever seen before or since. I think the director deliberately told him to tone it down so Doltreese as Simmons could hold center stage. Even so, Lee just can't help being Lee.
Xander and you. He must have known.
No. Now, evidently Simmons didn't give him a chance to make a matrix for his computer. You may now take your travel position, Commissioner. The rest is automatic.
You first.
If I don't make a matrix for you, you will die. No, I'm serious. The computer is not calibrated for you. You're really going to regret the consequences. Last chance. I really mean it. You're going to wake up in a couple hours, trapped, and you're going to die a horrible death. No? Okay, I warned you. Christopher Lee, ladies and gentlemen, even when he's playing a good guy, he's a total bastard. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
On the day I was born, the nurses all gathered round, and they gazed in wide wonder at the joy they had found. The head nurse spoke up, said, "Leave this one alone." She could tell right away